Hi, I'm Robin Fox. I'll be playing at Resonant soon. Come down and check it out. When I was young, I was into a mixture actually of really intense music. So I was into really heavy stuff. I like loud things. I like intensity. I've always been into intensity, and the heavy metal drumming was part of that. But I was also into the most sugar-coated, saccharine kind of 80s pop music that you could possibly imagine. I think my first album was, Wham's Make It Big. And I love it, still love it. Still love all of those incredible kind of, you know, cheesy synth lines, terrible drum sounds, all of that stuff. And I guess it's regressive psychotherapy for me now. The 80s pop music is still like a driving force in my life. I got into using analog synths in quite a strange way. So I was studying composition. I was actually writing notated music, and I was quite bad at that. And but I was struggling through it and sort of mastering various ways of doing that. And when they closed the music department, a friend of mine at La Trobe University, a friend of mine, Michael Munson, pulled three synthesizers out of a dumpster. They were rack mount synthesizers with joysticks. They had three oscillators. There's a couple of them that now live at Mess, and they turned out to be these trans-audio synthesizer modules, which were built by my stepfather. And I knew that he ran the computer music department at La Trobe, and we always had music technology in my life since I was very young, samplers and all those things from very early on. But so these synthesizers were removed from the dumpster, and I took one to my stepfather, and I'd been reading a bit about electronic music, but I wasn't engaged with it at all at this point. And I said to him, "Is this a VCS3?" Because I'd read about VCS3s. He said, "No, but I have a VCS3 upstairs," and he brought one down. And I saw it and thought, that's fantastic. He gave me the manual on the VCS3, and I took that away, and I basically learnt analog synthesis on a VCS3 with the manual and the pin matrix. Straight away started performing with that synth, so I started playing gigs, and went back, a month or so later to my stepfather's place and said, "That synthesizer is amazing. I've started performing with it." And he said, "Well, if you're doing that, you probably want the one in the suitcase." And he went upstairs and brought down this machine, actually, the Synthi A. And I just said, "Okay, take me upstairs. What else? What else have you got up there?" And it turned out up there, he had one of the most incredible pieces we have at Mess is a VCS1, which is the prototype, or not the prototype, but the precursor to the VCS3 and the Synthi A and AKS. And there are only three of those in the world, and I think mine is the only one that works. A couple of years ago, Byron Scullen and I decided to start Mess, which is a Melbourne electronic sound studio. And so part of the idea of setting up Mess was that I inherited these incredible machines, and there was this legacy associated with that. And I thought, well, it'd be great to get these things in front of people and continue to use them because they're beautiful instruments. And I don't like the idea that an instrument like this gets put behind glass and treated like a museum piece. This is a musical instrument that's only, 50, 60 years old. This sense of playing gigs in a musical sense is something that I've lost connection with. And so I think that one of the things I'm really looking forward to about this upcoming show is just actually the show itself. Like, I'm quite excited. It's not, like I have a renewed energy for presenting something live, and it's giving me real impetus with my modular stuff as well to actually refine setups for performance. I mean, in the studio you can sort of keep growing, and it gets sort of ridiculously large, and but I love the idea of being able to turn up to a gig, with a couple of suitcases, or one modular case and a couple of bits and pieces, and see what I can make happen with that. So, working on something that's quite performative, I want to get quite tactile, something that I can control. But going back to that, the thing that I used to do with algorithmic music and computer music, this idea that the system will kind of have agency and a mind of its own, and I'll have to kind of work against it, or fight with it on stage to try and rein it in and control it. And, I really like the idea that when I hit a trigger, for example, I only have a vague sense of what is going to happen. Like, I don't. So I like to think of this 12U modular actually as kind of a system that I've set up as the battle between order and chaos. So I've got the Metropolis sequencer that's in constant battle with the Turing machine, and the sort of you have this very ordered step sequencer and then a very sort of quasi-random or shift register based random generation system there. And so I like that idea of trying to find a point where I can marry my love of Xenakis and stochastic music with my love of disco and the Jacksons. That's like, if I could find that kind of balance, and I think that that's what got me excited about modular really, is that it lends itself to this incredible fluidity. In terms of what's coming up, working towards my new laser show Single Origin is touring this year, so I'm off to New Tech and other festivals later in the year to present that work. Off to London next month for a show at King's Place with Sonica Festival. I have a really badly maintained website, but I'll try and put all the information on there. But if you want to find out about it, you can find me on the internet.